Alright, YouTubers, it's Geoffrey Howells Carpet Cleaning here. I'm going to go over a couple of tips. I use old hoses. I buy them used at like half price. They last for years. They're great. This one here, you can see I put some tape on it. It's because the outside is cracking. The braided inside is still fine. I check the hoses. When they begin breaking down inside, the water starts getting discolored, and you can tell that the lines inside are breaking apart, but that's not the case. And this one I just picked up. It's a 50-foot high-pressured 4,000 psi solution line. I think I paid $50 for it, so it's literally half price of brand new. I could buy new, but solution lines, the only reason you would buy brand new is just so that you could get the color and look cute out on the job, but cute doesn't get the work done. Quality gets the work done. So if I can put $50 back into my pocket, I feel better knowing that my family gets to eat. Anyways, what I want to point out is that your quick disconnects, this one is brand new. I had an issue where my quick disconnect, or my solution hose, I was on a second story apartment, and the solution hose slipped off of where it was anchored at, and it hit the ground and pretty much busted it up. As you can see, I've got these plastic, they're called QTs. They're a quick disconnect safety covers. This is by Mighty. They're literally like $3 for a 2-pack. So if my equipment would have had one of these on it, I wouldn't have had to have placed this brass piece, which is, a good $10, $15, depending on the quality and vendor where you actually purchase it from. I also purchased this one here, because this is like a hardcore version that actually is a lot stronger than this piece here, but this here, we're talking about $3 as opposed to this guy here is $24. This is pretty hardcore. You can see it's actually molded and fitted onto the piece. So this is hardcore, and that's not going to come off. This is permanent. These will actually disconnect, and you can take these off and stick them onto another hose. But with that said, it's always a good idea to keep one or two of these female pieces in your toolbox, because when something breaks and your piece doesn't fit anymore because you dented the brass, or one of the ball bearings broke and you can't stick the mill end in there, you're pretty much SOL. So I try to keep, I've got about one, I've got this 50-footer, I've got a 50-footer here, and I've got another 15 to 20-footer out in the van. Plus I have my main line, which is about 75 feet that I keep. So what I do, the way I like doing it, is I go inside and I start in the furthermost corner of the house, and I begin to roll these out back to the van so that I always have the exact amount of hose running through the house every single time. And if I need an extra length, let's say I'm working inside of a church or a commercial restaurant or something like that where I need more hose, then I will then begin attaching smaller lengths onto my larger length, and that just helps to keep things more concise, and uses least amount of products and tools and equipment on the van that I possibly would need to use. So that's the one way of consolidating things. And then this guy here, this is a reusable zip tie from Home Depot. This guy was literally like $1.49, and these work great for tying up your hoses. And once they're tied up, you see they have a convenient handle that's not only convenient for carrying your lines and things into the house, it's also convenient for hanging these in your van, or your truck, or wherever they may be, hung on a wall, whatever. So you just hang those things over a hook, and they're just hanging there. So they're really nice and convenient. You can use them as a stair tie down at the top of the steps, to keep your hoses and lines from sliding back down the stairways due to gravity. But I particularly don't find these that useful for that. They're a little more complicated. They're just having a real legit stair tie to use at the top of the stairways. So I keep an extra mil on hand. These guys are super cheap, probably about $5 as opposed to the female, which has moving parts and more pieces like ball bearings and such. They're generally 2 to 3 times as expensive, but make sure you got these spare parts on hand. At the time, I did not, and it's one of those things where you don't think about it until afterwards. So hindsight's always 20/20. So if you can, order a couple of extra QDs and just keep those in the toolbox. In most cases, they're as simple as taking 2 crescent wrenches and you can see, hold one side and twist the other side on with that. So very simple and easy fix if you get into that pinch, because without a working solution line, you are SOL on the job. So take those precautions, save you some time, save you some money when things kind of go south a little bit on you. And hopefully this video is a little bit useful to you. Again, I'm going to throw in a little bit of carpet cleaning lingo with the powerful truck-mounted steam cleaning. So these are high-pressured hoses intended for steam cleaning purposes, because they're not only high-pressured, they allow high temperature to go through. I'm not sure what the temperature rating is. I am sure that it's close, it's over 300 degrees, I'm sure. I generally don't go much higher than 230 on most of my cleaning, but there are temperature differences between polyester carpets and nylon carpeting. With the polyester carpets, you can generally crank that heat up and you're actually going to get better results, where if you crank the heat up on nylon carpets, you're probably going to damage them. So you're better off just keeping the heat about 220, 230 or so, and then you're not going to be causing any problems. Besides, that's what the IICRC recommends anyhow. So do yourself a favor, stick to guidelines and standards, and you should be A-OK.